Imagine, if you will, the world you've always known, where everything around you whispers of separation. From the moment you were born, they told you you are alone. A singular entity sent into the vast expanse of the universe, struggling to find meaning, connection, and peace somewhere beyond yourself. They said you are an isolated soul, adrift in a world of others, that the bonds you seek are distant, and you must fight, pray, and hope to find them. But what if I told you that everything you've been taught about this divide, this illusion of isolation, is a lie so deeply woven into the fabric of existence that it shapes every cell in your body and every thought in your mind? What if I told you that the greatest secret of the universe lies hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to open your eyes? Picture this: two children born of the same mother, yet taken from her at birth and raised in two corners of the world. One becomes an artist in Tokyo, painting the silent beauty of the world with every brushstroke. The other, a physicist in Lisbon, unraveling the mysteries of the universe with every equation. These two, separated by miles of oceans, cultures, and time zones, have never met. They have never spoken a word to each other. And yet, every time the artist dreams of the ocean, the physicist wakes up by the water's edge. Every time one feels pain, the other is startled, as if a part of them was touched by something they can't explain. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetic license. This is a clue, a glimpse into the heart of the cosmos, because deep within the fabric of quantum reality, we discover something that shatters the illusions we've long accepted. When two particles become entangled, they cease to be separate. They become a system, a whole, acting in unison, even if they are light years apart. A change in one particle instantly affects the other, not in a moment, not through a signal, but instantly faster than the speed of light. Albert Einstein, in his disdain for the idea, called it spooky action at a distance. But the truth is, stranger still. If particles can respond to each other outside of time and space, what does that tell us about ourselves? This is not just physics. This is your life. Right now, you are living according to a program, a pattern handed down through the ages, a story that tells you that you are a separate I trying to survive in a world full of things. A world where love, healing, and power must be earned, fought for, or attracted. But here is what no one has told you. You were never disconnected. You were only observing your own reflection, seeing yourself as fractured. The truth is far deeper. In the quantum realm, the moment you observe something, it changes. It collapses from an infinite wave of possibilities into a single, specific outcome. In other words, you are not just existing in this world, you are shaping it, simply by your awareness of it. But most people, instead of seeing the world as a canvas, are staring at the mirror of separation, suffering, and scarcity, wondering why it never reflects anything else. But the true reason you feel stuck is not because the mirror is broken, it's because you've been staring at it, trying to change the reflection. What happens when you stop trying to change the mirror and instead start shifting what's looking into it? That's when the magic begins. We are entering a new dimension of awareness. A shift is coming, because once you understand the truth about quantum entanglement, your life will change not just in small ways, but in ways so profound that you will feel as if you are stepping into an entirely new existence. But first, we must break through the illusion. You've been trained to believe in linearity, in cause and effect, in the idea that action here leads to consequence over there. You've been taught to believe that time is a straight arrow, and you are just a passenger, moving along its path. But in the quantum field, none of that is true. Time is not linear, it is entangled. Events are not separate, they are reflections. And you are not just experiencing life, you are entangled with it. You think you are reacting to reality, but what if reality is reacting to you? This is why, when you think of someone intensely, they call you. This is why, when you feel anxious about something that hasn't yet happened, it often comes true. This is why, when you shift your vibration, not just your mood, but the very coherence of your being, the world rearranges itself. We call it synchronicity, coincidence, manifestation. But the truth is simpler and far more powerful. You are entangled with every potential version of yourself and every possible outcome. But your mind has filtered those outcomes through an identity you never consciously chose. An identity that whispers, I'm not ready. I am separate. I am small. I am lacking. And in that frequency, you continue to align with timelines that match it, like a radio stuck on one channel. Not because that's what you want, but because that's what you're observing. But this is where the illusion breaks. Entanglement is not something out there. It is you. Every person you've loved, every version of you that's ever existed, every possibility you've dared to imagine, every fear you've buried, it's all entangled in an infinite, sparkling web. And that web doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to who you are. And when you finally stop chasing the illusion of separation, when you stop trying to attract and start collapsing into alignment, you will not pull your desires toward you. You will step into a version of yourself that has lived with them all along. This is the quantum leap. An entanglement is the door, but you haven't even begun to see its full scope. Because the real power of entanglement lies not in theory or abstract science. It lies in how you are unconsciously bound to the people, memories, frequencies, and timelines that are shaping your life right now. And until you learn to recognize those invisible threads, you will continue to live out a story, year after year, calling it growth. But what you are about to learn will change that. For you were not just born into a body, you were born into a frequency. A quantum field that has vibrated with the memories, emotions, and expectations of all that came before you. And this is what no one has ever told you. Before you even spoke your first word, you were entangled not just with your parents, not just with your DNA, but with fields of consciousness, energy patterns, and timelines of possibility. Let's take this to the quantum level. In 1935, Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen posed a challenge to the foundations of quantum mechanics. They suggested a paradox, now known as the EPR paradox, that quantum theory must be incomplete if two particles could instantly affect each other, even if they were light years apart. Einstein hated this idea. He called it spooky action at a distance. But decades later, with experiments like Allen Aspects in 1982, that spooky action became real. What did they find? That once two quantum particles become entangled, once they interact in a way that links their states, any change to one particle instantly affects the other. Not quickly, not through a signal. Instantly, no matter the distance. This is the truth of the universe. And it's your truth. It's time to wake up to the reality that you are not just living in the world. You are shaping it just by observing it. You are entangled with every possibility, every version of yourself. And now, you are about to realize how to break free from the illusion of separation and step into the infinite possibilities that await. Welcome to your quantum transformation. You see, most people miss this part, the part that holds the key to everything. You are made of particles. Every thought, every touch, every emotional imprint you've ever experienced has created entanglement. Think about the moment a mother holds her newborn. In that instant, both of their heartbeats slow, their brainwaves synchronize, and their nervous systems begin to harmonize. That isn't just love. That's quantum entanglement at work through biological connection. Now, imagine stretching this connection outward. Think of the first time you felt heartache, or that friend you haven't seen in a decade but still dream of. The one you can't stop thinking about, even though they've long since passed. Those aren't memories. They are quantum relationships still unfolding. And here's where it gets truly wild. These entanglements do not obey the laws of space or time. You can be entangled with someone on the other side of the planet. You can be entangled with a version of yourself from 5 years ago, or even with a future self, one who lives in joy, abundance, and peace, completely unaware of your present existence. And yes, that means you can sync up with that future version of you. You can actually align your vibration with the frequency of your highest self and step into that timeline. But you cannot do this with your mind. You must do it through energy, through coherence, intention, and identity. But hold on, before we dive into the how, let's take this deeper. In 1978, physicist John Wheeler proposed an experiment called the delayed choice experiment. In essence, what would happen if the behavior of a particle, whether it acts like a wave or a particle, wasn't determined at the moment it was emitted, but instead at the moment it's observed? In other words, your future choices could rewrite the behavior of particles in the past. This experiment has been repeated, refined, and continues to reveal something that will twist your mind. Reality doesn't exist until it is observed. And even more shockingly, your observations don't just affect your present, they could be reshaping your past. So, connect the dots here. If everything in your life is entangled, and if observation collapses the field, then the quality of your awareness determines the quality of your connections. And those connections, in turn, determine what shows up in your reality. Here's an example. Let's say you constantly attract emotionally unavailable partners. It's not just trauma, it's entanglement. You've unconsciously synced your energy with a vibrational pattern, often inherited from your family or ancestors, and you're observing the world through that lens. So, even when someone who could love you shows up, your energy field filters them out. You don't see them, or worse, you push them away without knowing why. But this isn't your fault, it's your energy field. And the good news is, energy fields can be reset, because entanglement is not static, it's reactive. The moment you shift your state, not your thinking, but your state, your entire web of connections starts to realign. Think of it like this. Your consciousness is like a tuning fork. When it resonates with guilt, it activates entanglements related to guilt people, memories, outcomes. When it resonates with worthiness, it activates entanglements linked to abundance, harmony, and flow. And the energy field doesn't judge. It simply responds. This is why people often experience quantum leaps after a powerful emotional event, a breakdown, a breakthrough, or a spiritual awakening. In that moment, they stop observing the same reality, and a new reality unfolds before their eyes. This is also why healing doesn't always come from logic. It comes from resonance. You can read 1,000 books on boundaries, but you'll still feel stuck in the same patterns until one moment of deep coherence, perhaps during breath work, meditation, or a heartfelt conversation where something shifts within you. You no longer resonate at the same frequency. The loop is broken. But here's the missing piece that most people never discover. You don't need to wait for rock bottom or divine intervention to create that shift. You can become the observer, the one who breaks free from a new entanglement by changing how you relate to the energy field right now. You do this by changing who you think you are, by embodying a new state, not pretending but becoming. Because identity isn't just psychological, it's quantum. As we move forward, we'll explore how to consciously reprogram your entanglements, how to dissolve the ones that keep repeating old pain, and how to activate the entanglements that align with the highest frequencies of your future self. But first, let me ask you a question that could change everything. Who or what are you still entangled with? Because whether you realize it or not, something is pulling your field, and it's time to find out what that is and why. Somewhere in your past, there was a moment maybe so subtle you didn't even notice when reality shifted. It could have been a phone call that never came, a job you didn't get, or someone who suddenly disappeared from your life. And at that moment, you might have thought it was just a missed opportunity, or perhaps bad luck. But what if it wasn't? What if you unknowingly collapsed a version of reality and stepped into another? This is not a metaphor. This is physics. Let's revisit one of the most copied and controversial experiments in quantum science, the double-slit experiment. Here's what happened. Scientists fired individual particles through two slits without observing them, and the particles behaved like waves, creating an interference pattern. That means each particle passed through both slits at once, existing in multiple probabilities. But when they set up a measurement device to observe which slit the particle went through, the interference pattern collapsed. Suddenly, the particle acted like a solid object. It chose a slit. It chose a path. It chose a result. Do you understand what that means? The act of observation changed the outcome. Your awareness isn't passive. It's participatory. And that changes everything because you aren't just watching your life unfold. You are shaping it in every moment by how you observe it. This is where things get deeply personal. Let's say you wake up tomorrow and feel a wave of anxiety. Most people immediately observe that feeling through the lens of fear. I'm anxious again. Something must be wrong. What's broken inside me? That inner dialogue, those words are like a measuring device. They collapse your field, locking you into a reality where anxiety is the truth. But what if, instead, You observe that feeling through the lens of curiosity. I feel anxious, but what if it's just energy trying to shift? What if I'm about to release something that no longer serves me? That simple shift in observation could collapse your field into a completely different version of reality. This is the power you hold. This is the science of quantum mechanics in action, and it's all within your reach. You are not just observing life, you are shaping it. Every thought, every emotion, every vibration you send out creates ripples in the quantum field, and the world responds. The question is, what reality are you choosing to observe? Right now, you are surrounded by an infinite number of potential realities. The version of you that is thriving, in love, fulfilled, at peace, that version is there, just as real as the one who is struggling, feeling lonely, or caught in cycles of uncertainty. All these versions of you exist as waves, potential possibilities, stretching out before you like a vast sea of untapped outcomes. But the moment you emotionally bind yourself to one of these possibilities, whether it's feeling the pain of loss, the fear of scarcity, or the weight of regret, you begin to collapse those waves into your lived experience. What you feel, what you truly embody, shapes the reality you see. So, the question is, what are you rehearsing emotionally right now? Because if you continue to observe your pain, your limitations, your scarcity, the universe will keep reflecting back the evidence that confirms those observations. But what if, instead, you began observing through a lens of coherence, through a lens of inner harmony, where your heart, mind, and body are aligned in a symphony of understanding? If you shift your focus, something extraordinary begins to happen. You stop reacting. You begin choosing. You no longer chase timelines. You start merging into them. Neville Goddard once said, "The awareness of poverty, while praying for prosperity, is rewarded with nothing but poverty." The energy field doesn't respond to what you ask for. It responds to who you are when you ask. And who you are is defined by what you observe as true. This is why so many affirmations fail. If you say, "I am abundant," but still feel the emptiness inside, the observation of scarcity is what dominates. Your energy field will collapse into that frequency, no matter how many positive words you speak. But here's the breakthrough. When you become the conscious observer, when you learn to observe with intention, not habit, you become the master of collapse. No longer are you the result of your reality. You become the cause of it. Let's make this clear. Maya, a woman I've worked with, struggled for years with a pattern of abandonment. No matter how different each relationship seemed on the surface, they all ended the same way, haunted by betrayal, emotional distance. She tried therapy, affirmations, vision boards, but the cycle kept repeating. Then, one day, during a deep meditation, something miraculous happened. She recalled a memory she hadn't thought of in years. Sitting alone in a hospital room as a child, waiting for her mother to return. In that moment, she didn't see herself as broken or in need of healing. She saw herself as an observer, a witness to her pain. She didn't try to fix the hurt. She simply observed it, accepted it, and something shifted. She said it felt as if reality rippled around her, as if the frequency of that memory had changed, and with it, her sense of self. That very week, her partner, who had been emotionally distant, initiated a conversation about deeper commitment. It wasn't magic. It was resonance. She stopped seeing herself as abandoned and began seeing herself as whole, fully present, immersed in love, not in loss. This is the power you always had. But no one taught you how to use it. So let's get real. The truth is this. Right now, you are surrounded by an ocean of potential realities. Your future, your past, your present, all existing simultaneously in waves of possibility. But the moment you emotionally attach to one, whether that attachment is pain, joy, lack, or abundance, you collapse that wave into your experience. So, the question becomes, what are you emotionally rehearsing? Because whatever you're observing right now, whether it's the lack, the pain, or the fear, the universe will continue to reflect that back at you. What if you began observing life through a lens of coherence? What if, instead of reacting to the pain, you allowed it to rise and pass through you like a wave? What if, instead of resisting, you met it with curiosity, with acceptance, with love? In that moment, you no longer feed the same timeline. You've shifted your position as the observer, and a new energy field begins to take shape around you. But hold on, this isn't even the most powerful part. Because the truth is, the effective observation doesn't just apply to external measurements. It applies to your identity. When you perceive yourself as weak, the universe reflects back experiences that confirm that belief. But when you perceive yourself as strong, the energy field shifts not because you are forcing it, but because you've attuned yourself to a new frequency of self. You have been collapsing your reality all your life, you just didn't know it. But now, you can do it intentionally. Let me share a story with you. Maya, a woman I worked with, had spent years wrestling with feelings of abandonment. Every relationship she had, no matter how different they seemed on the surface, always ended the same way, haunted by betrayal, emotional distance, and heartbreak. She had tried therapy, affirmations, vision boards, but the cycle never broke. One day, during a deep meditation, something strange happened. She recalled a memory she hadn't thought of in years, sitting alone in a hospital room as a child, waiting for her mother to return. In that moment, she didn't see herself as broken or in need of healing. She saw herself as an observer, a witness to her pain. She didn't try to fix the hurt, she simply observed it, accepted it, and something shifted. She said it felt as if reality was rippling around her, as if the frequency of that memory had changed, and with it, her sense of self. Within the same week, her partner, who had been emotionally distant, started a conversation about deeper commitment. It wasn't magic, it was resonance. This is the power you have, but no one's taught you how to access it. So let's face it, right now, you are surrounded by a vast array of potential realities. The version of you who is thriving, loving, succeeding, that version is as real as the one who feels stuck, lonely, or caught in the endless loop of struggle. All these versions of you exist as waves, possibilities, hanging before you like the stars in the sky. And the moment you emotionally anchor yourself to one of these waves, whether it's the pain of past loss, the fear of the future, or the hope for love, you collapse that wave into your lived experience. So the question is, what are you emotionally rehearsing right now? Because if you continue to observe your pain, your limitations, your fears, the universe will continue to reflect evidence back to you that confirms these observations. But if you shift your observation to coherence, if you align your heart, mind, and body into harmony, something extraordinary will start to unfold. You stop reacting. You begin to choose. You stop chasing timelines and start merging with them. You are not just observing your reality, you are shaping it, moment by moment, through how you choose to observe. When you understand this, you realize that you are no longer the result of your reality. You are the cause of it. And the power to change everything has always been in your hands. And so, it is with you. You can have an agreement with rejection, with silence, with waiting, with struggle, with proving your worth, with not allowing yourself to receive until you've suffered enough. These agreements aren't stored in your mind. They live in your emotional body, that space where memories, vibrations, and identity converge. And the only way to break them isn't through more effort, but through coherence. Let's dive deeper into this. HeartMath Institute has revealed something profound. The human heart emits an electromagnetic field that is up to 60 times stronger than the brain's. When you experience emotions like gratitude, love, and deep presence, your heart enters a state of coherence, signaling safety and harmony to the rest of your body. In this state, the quantum field responds more readily to your intentions. But coherence isn't just about feeling good, it's about restoring the integrity of your quantum field. When you're entangled in a contract of fear or lack, your heart and mind don't synchronize. You send one signal with your mind saying, I am abundant, and another with your emotions saying, I am scared. The quantum field listens to the stronger frequency, and emotions always win. This is why trying to manifest from a place of misalignment is so exhausting. It's like trying to paint over a moldy canvas. Eventually, the old pattern will seep through. To truly change the timeline, you must address the source, the entangled consensus that is still broadcasting in your quantum field. And that begins with observing yourself, observing deeply. Ask yourself, what emotional state do I default to when everything gets quiet? What is my baseline frequency when no one is watching? Is it peace or pressure? Silence or urgency? That state is the signal of your current entanglement. And here's the key. The energy field doesn't punish you for that. It simply responds in loyalty. The universe binds with your coherence unconditionally. It reflects back to you your true self. Now, here's the part that is often overlooked. Most people try to sever their ties with others, with patterns, through intention or rituals, but they remain entangled emotionally because they haven't forgiven. Not just others, but themselves. Unforgiveness is a vibrational contract. It keeps you bound to the past versions of yourself, to what you've done, what you've allowed, what you didn't know. And until you remove the frequency of self-judgment, the energy field will continue to reflect back your punishment. Forgiveness is not a spiritual bypass. It's a vibrational release. When you forgive, you're not letting someone else off the hook. You're freeing yourself from the frequency that keeps replaying the old pain. You're returning coherence to your energy field. And in that coherence, you collapse a new reality. Not a better version of the old story, a completely different one. A story that has always been there, waiting for you, but requires a shift in who you believe you're allowed to become. So, how do you do this? It starts right here. Identify the recurring emotional patterns in your life. Is it abandonment, invisibility, conflict? Whatever it is, trace its origin. When was the first time you felt it? Not the story, but the feeling. Sit with that vibration, not to relive it, but to witness it. Remember, you are the observer now. You are no longer the child. You are no longer the victim. You are no longer even the character. You are the consciousness that collapses the scene. Then say this, either aloud or in silence. I release the agreement that says I must continue feeling this in order to be safe. You don't need to feel worthy. You don't need to feel healed. You just need to become coherent, bring your heart and mind into harmony. That frequency alone begins the collapse. And when you do this, you'll notice something subtle but profound. People will start reacting to you differently. Conversations will shift. What used to trigger you will no longer have the same power. What once felt like a struggle will begin to ease. This is not coincidence. This is coherence. Your vibrational field is updating its entanglements. You are becoming a new version of yourself, not by adding more, but by releasing what was never truly yours. Now, let's go deeper still. Some of you are still entangled with outcomes that never came to pass. Those futures that died in your imagination, the dreams you've outgrown but still mourn. Let them go. Not because they weren't beautiful, but because your attachment to them is anchoring you to a timeline that no longer serves you. There are versions of you waiting to bloom, but they need space in your field. Every what if that you refuse to release is a frequency you continue to fund, and your coherence is leaking into those ghosts. So reclaim it, not with force, but with frequency. And now, right now, declare your intention into the energy field. Drop a comment. I am setting myself free. Let the energy field feel your declaration. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but for the tangled consciousness of this community. A network of minds and hearts breaking the loops. Because as we move into the next chapter, we will do what few dare to do. We will approach the versions of ourselves that have lived beyond the loop. Those quantum selves entangled with wholeness, freedom, and fulfillment. And once you meet them, you will never collapse into the old reality again. There is a version of you living the life you're praying for. Not in the future, not in some mystical realm, but here, right now, vibrating on a frequency outside your current awareness. They are healed. They are whole. They are living in a reality where pain has dissolved, the past has merged, and purpose is clear. The only reason you haven't met them yet is because you haven't tuned into their signal. But once you do, once you understand what a true quantum leap is, you will stop trying to become someone new. You will simply remember who you've always been in this field. Quantum leaps are not a fantasy. They are entanglements of identity. They are the complete transformation of your state of coherence, to the point where the version of you that aligns with your desires doesn't just become accessible, it becomes inevitable. You're not attracting this version. You're choosing it, tuning into it like a radio dial until the static fades away and the new signal becomes the dominant one. Before we dive in, let's shatter a myth that holds so many of us back. Most people believe that change takes time. That transformation is linear, that you must be ready, assert your worth, heal all wounds, let go of the past, and only then, if you're lucky, will change finally come. This is a survival model. It's Newtonian. It's rooted in cause and effect. But in the quantum field, time isn't the catalyst. Identity is the catalyst. You don't need time to change. You need to change your vibration. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Alina who had been diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune disease. For years, she tried everything: diets, doctors, affirmations, even energy healing. Some methods offered temporary relief, but her condition persisted. Until one evening, during a deep meditation, something extraordinary happened. She stopped trying to heal and instead asked herself, what if I was already the version of myself who didn't have this disease? She didn't try to imagine it, she became it. She slowed her breath, felt her body warm, and in that space, she experienced in mere seconds a life without fear, without struggle, without waiting. The next day, something had changed. Her symptoms began to subside. A week later, the inflammation in her body had nearly vanished. She hadn't changed her treatment. She had changed her identity. And the quantum field responded immediately. Because once you step into the frequency of a new self, your biology, environment, and external outcomes begin to reorganize around it. This isn't magic. This is the union of neuroplasticity and the quantum field. When you activate and connect new patterns in your brain, supported by emotional coherence, you trigger a new neural architecture. Your body starts signaling, I am different. And the quantum field, loyal to coherence, responds. But here's what most people miss. Quantum leaps aren't about illusions. They're about loyalty. You must be loyal to the frequency of the identity you've chosen before the evidence shows up. Because at first, it won't feel real. Your environment will tempt you to fall back into old patterns. Your nervous system, addicted to the chemical cocktail of suffering, will beg for the change. But your task isn't to force the change. It's to stabilize your signal. Let's get a bit technical. You are not a solid entity. You are a vibrational transmitter, broadcasting thoughts, emotions, and intentions into a unified field, one that doesn't react to your words, but to your dominant state. That state is shaped by your electromagnetic signature, primarily created by your heart and brain. When those two centers are out of coherence, when you think one thing but feel another, your signal is chaotic. But when they align, when your intention and emotion are in harmony, you become magnetic. You no longer chase timelines, they collapse into you. So how do you do this? The first step is to practice identity. This isn't acting, it's coherence. Close your eyes. Breathe into your heart and ask, if I were the version of myself who already has everything I desire, how would I walk? How would I breathe? How would I speak to myself when no one else is listening? And then, embody it. Don't just do it once, but consistently. This is the frequency of choice. You're not waiting for permission. You are becoming the evidence. But here's the turning point. Your old identity won't vanish quietly. It will try to reclaim its throne through emotional sabotage, procrastination, confusion, and self-doubt. This is not failure. This is friction. It means the old reality is losing its grip. Keep going. Because the moment you hold the frequency of your new self through the discomfort, a quantum shift will occur. You'll collapse into a timeline where that discomfort no longer applies. You haven't overcome it, you've surpassed it. And sometimes the shift is subtle. A missed phone call, a rerouted opportunity that becomes a miracle, a sudden clarity that was previously invisible. That's how quantum reality works. Not with fireworks, but with quiet frequency shifts in the background. Then, almost out of nowhere, your entire landscape will look different. but it won't come to you. You've come to it. Here's another secret, and it changes everything. You are not leaping into something better. You are returning to something truer. Every quantum possibility already exists. And the versions of you that carry peace, love, health, and abundance are not illusions, they are tangled possibilities waiting for resonance. When you stop trying to force change and instead begin embodying the one who has already lived in that reality, the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. So, here's the practice. Every morning, before you pick up the phone, before your mind starts rewinding the past, take 5 minutes. Close your eyes, feel your heart, and silently declare, I remember who I am in this field, not the person I once was, not the person I'm trying to become, but the one who has chosen this timeline. Then walk like them, think like them, speak like them. Not perfectly, but consistently enough for the field to recalibrate. Because quantum leaps aren't about sudden magic. They are a rhythm, a new signal. And the moment your nervous system learns that this new identity is safe, the old identity will dissolve without struggle. In the next chapter, we'll conclude this journey by stepping beyond the understanding that you are not just entangled in potential timelines. You are the energy field. And once you begin to live from there, reality no longer happens to you. It reacts through you. All along, you've been seeking signs, meanings, something that could finally shift out there. You've tried to harmonize, surrender, attract, reprogram. But what if I told you that your seeking is part of the illusion? That the moment you stop trying to latch onto a better version of reality and instead recognize that you are the energy field, everything will change. You see, entanglement isn't just connection. It's a breadcrumb trail. A glimpse of the deeper truth that reality doesn't happen around you. It emerges from you. You're not a person projecting intentions into space. You are the space contracting itself, collapsing endless probabilities into the singular expression of your current frequency. Not because you're manifesting, but because you are the manifester. You are the observer and the observed, the field and the form. You once believed in cause and effect. You thought that positive thinking would lead to better outcomes. You thought that working harder would eventually prove your worth. But quantum mechanics and ancient mysticism now agree that form follows frequency, and frequency follows identity. And identity is not fixed. It is chosen moment by moment through the vibration you emit. Let's make this clear with one final shift. In advanced quantum theory, there is a concept called non-locality. It means that once particles are entangled, they are no longer bound by space or time. They act as a unified system, no matter the distance, no matter the sequence. This challenges classical laws of physics, but it reflects a deeper truth about consciousness. You are not separate from anything you observe. Every emotion, every encounter, every outcome reflects something within your energy field. Life doesn't happen to you, it is created by you. And this is the liberation that most seekers never find, because they keep trying to fix the mirror instead of changing the image behind it. When you truly realize that you are the living energy field, entangled not only with others, but actively shaping the form of reality through your coherence, everything becomes a ceremony. Your thoughts become signals. Your breath becomes the entry point. Your choices become the code. You no longer chase love, health, abundance, or purpose. You walk as their frequency. Let me tell you something most teachers won't. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about being present. Quantum reality doesn't require perfection. It requires participation, coherence, and willingness. When you step into life with that frequency, even if just for a few seconds each day, the entire matrix begins to recalibrate. Not immediately, but inevitably. There's a reason spiritual masters can affect entire fields of reality with nothing but their presence. They have become so internally coherent that their vibration stabilizes the quantum field around them. Not because they're forcing it, but because they've embodied it. And that is what you're being called to do right now. Stop trying to attract. Start transmitting. Stop trying to become. Start remembering. Because the quantum field doesn't react to effort. It reacts to clarity. And when you become a clear signal, no longer clouded by guilt, doubt, or despair, reality begins to reflect something extraordinary. Not a version of you layered with survival codes and generational loops, but the true, whole, worthy you. You are the living field. You are entangled with every healed version of yourself. And your life, as it is now, is not a test, a punishment, or an accident. It's a feedback loop, revealing your frequency moment by moment so you can refine, recalibrate, and rise. But this is not the end of the journey. It is the doorway. Because now that you know you are not just breaking reality, but creating it, the question becomes, how will you live? Not reacting, not theorizing, but consciously, actively, with coherence, not chaos, with signal, not static, with embodiment, not avoidance. And to support this next level of mastery, I invite you to step into a deeper initiation. We've created something specially for this moment, a sacred space of activation, synchronization, and embodiment practice. It's called Awakening Your Quantum Power. It's not just an ebook. It's a transmission, a toolkit for stabilizing your energy field to tune to higher frequencies, reconnect your entanglements, and become the mirror that bends reality around your state of being. If what you've felt in this video resonates, if you feel the energy field calling you to live this truth instead of just understanding it, then this is for you. You'll find the link in the pinned comment. Follow what your energy field knows to be true, because the next version of your life isn't waiting. It's already here. And the moment you stop seeking it and instead allow yourself to become it, everything begins to reflect your frequency. You don't grow stronger. You remember you always were.